Hi guys, welcome to today's trade of the day. And for today's trade of the day, I'll be looking at the pound yen. Now, why I chose the pound against a safe haven currency as like the yen is because this week is going to be a pretty heavy week for economic data and news release that will be coming out for the pound. Right, so we're going to be seeing a bit of high volatility with regards to pound pairs, and yeah, the pound yen is one of the pairs that I like to trade. With that, let's go into the charts. Now, because this week is going to be a heavy week in terms of economic news and data release for the pound, instead of starting with the monthly and then working my way down to the weekly, daily, I decided that I'll start off with the daily first because the daily configuration looks a lot more interesting, right, as compared to the weekly and the monthly. Now, it's the same thing. What I'll do with every time frame is to look for support and resistance. And once that is done, then I'll go down to a lower time frame to fine tune the levels. Right. So what we have here is the daily. And as with all technical analysis, we want to focus on the more current price. Now, in technical analysis, all past prices are important. However, it's the current price that will tell you whether prices will go higher or prices will go lower. All right, with that, let's look at the daily. So now offhand, we just want to look for a daily support level. Graphical support will be something over here. Of course, I can extend it further back and cut the wicks if I wanted to. But just want to point out something that we see in terms of price movement, there's a huge push down before a bounce up, right? This is a strong reversal, near a nearly V-shaped reversal. However, over here, we see price forming some sort of pattern that looks like this, right? And this seems like the classical head and shoulders pattern. Now, head and shoulders pattern should always come after a strong movement, right? If this is a head and shoulders, it should come after a strong upwards push. If it is an inverse head and shoulders movement, it should come after a strong downwards push. So this is what I think that we are seeing over here. So just to give the market a bit of room to breathe, I will back it up to take the neckline at this level, and I'll call this the daily support. All right, let's call this the daily support. Okay, and we want to look for the daily resistance. Of course, it's a no-brainer. We take right at the top of the head, and we call this the daily resistance. Now, these are just graphical levels, but what we want to do is we want to use Fibonacci to find confluence, which means gives us more confidence that these are also levels, the resistance and support are also levels that we can find using Fibonacci, right? So the first thing to find the resistance is that price started here before making a strong push downwards. So we want to see how far price can reverse or retrace. We'll use our Fibonacci retracement, with this being point 1 and this being point number 2, right? So let's do just that. Okay, we open all Fibonacci ratios, and we see that this daily resistance is actually holding quite close to the 50% level. If anything, it's actually more of a zone, right? It's more of a zone. And how I can say it's closer to the 50% level is because, let me just extend this zone. Because if I were to change prices to close, we see that the price in close is actually closer to 50%, right? So let's just highlight that 50. And next, we see a push up here. And we want to see whether this daily support falls in line with any Fibonacci level. So we take retracement from this swing low to this swing high. Likewise, we open up all Fibonacci ratios, and we see that this daily support is actually close to the 38, right? If I were to give it some room to breathe, okay? However, if I change it to close, the closing price is closer to the 23.6 instead. But like I said, because price is already so close to the 23.6, I want to back it up a bit and use the 38. So now that I have the levels here, let's go down to the 4-hour. Now on the 4-hour, this is what we see. Let me just tidy this up a bit. Okay, we see that price has made some sort of push. It drifted downwards and then it reacted and came back higher. So this seems like a zigzag and now it's going back down. It seems like a zigzag pattern. So we want to use a Fibonacci extension from the swing high to the low here and then back up again. And we see the 100%, which is a key Fibonacci extension level, is actually close to the daily support area, right? So this area, let me just draw that box for reference. Okay, let me change this to green. Show that it's a support area. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is that price could actually make a push down towards the daily support and then react up to the daily resistance. Okay, and if price shows a clear break of the daily support, then we are going to go much lower, right? So because this is a very strong support level. Okay, so with that, I also want to show you guys something that if you were to change the price to closing price and to connect all the lines here, all the closing prices, and then we change back to candlestick, we actually see that, let me just zoom in, we actually see that there's sort of a ascending trend line support, right? Let me just change the color to green as well. There's an ascending trend line support where price tapped here once, came back down here, okay, tested the daily support and rejected and closed back above the ascending trend line, and now it's back up and it's coming back down again. All right, so this could be price could just test this level and then we see a push up towards the daily resistance. But this is the 4 hours. This is just something that I want to point out to you guys. The daily support, we can also consider it the 4-hour support, right? Reason being, the price is really quite close to the daily support right now. Okay, and we see that there's this push down. So we want to see how far price can react first before continuing its push up to the daily resistance in a bullish environment. So we shall take a retracement from the recent swing high to where price currently is at. And then we open up all Fibonacci ratios. And let's use the key Fibonacci ratio of 61.8. Okay, so there's a possibility, I mean, there's no graphical resistance here, but there's a possibility that prices will normally react at key Fibonacci levels and then continue its movement. All right, so let's just keep this 61.8 in mind and let's go down to the 1 hour. Now we are on the 1 hour. Let me tidy this up. Okay, this box, let me tidy this up as well. And adjust this accordingly. Okay, so this is what we have on the 1 hour, right? It's interesting to note that this was the fake out that we saw on the 4 hours. Okay, so because the trend line is cut, it's not a very nice trend line on the 1 hour, so we can remove it. But we see that there's this huge push up and then a nearly A-shaped pullback. So this retracement, we want to see how far price can actually go down, right? So we take a retracement from the swing low here all the way to the swing high. And let's open up all Fibonacci ratios. And we see that price is currently testing the 78.6 level, right? If I were to highlight the 78.6, okay, price is currently testing it right now. All right. So, and graphically speaking, remember we did this retracement of this entire move down and we found that there's a key level at a 61.8. Graphically speaking, I see some sort of resistance level here as well. Okay, so to confirm that, let's just open all Fibonacci levels. All right, so this is close to the 23%. And take note, the negative 27.2 is actually at the daily support or the 4-hour support. So let me just highlight these three levels, the 61.8, the negative 27.2, and the 78.6, and also the 23.6. Okay, so what I like to do now is actually there's sort of an intermediate support here, right, at this level here. Let me just put it in dotted line. Okay, so what this means is that I currently see price possibly doing, and I'll call this the first resistance, the 4-hour resistance, the 1-hour resistance. Okay. So what I see price possibly doing could be that price can be testing this area and then it push up to the 1-hour resistance before continuing its move up towards the 4-hour resistance level, right? Okay, so this is a nice graphical level here where price came close. Can call this the 4-hour resistance as well. Okay, so as long as price is above the daily support, the 4-hour support, I will be bullish. Okay, as long as price is above the daily support, 4-hour support, we can see right now price is actually reacting above the 78. All right, testing that level. But the real key level that I'm watching out for is the daily support, 4-hour support. All right, so I'm waiting for price to enter anywhere in this area. As long as price is holding above the daily support, it'll be good for long towards the first resistance. This will be my TP1. And then I'll wait for price to go up towards my TP2, which is the 4-hour resistance level. Okay, so just to put things in perspective, all right, this will be my tip entry, my buy entry area. This will be my take profit 1. And this will be my take profit 2. All right, should price actually go much higher into this area, okay, I will be very cautious because a break of this area will say that we are actually even more bullish. However, a reversal below this area will show that we are bearish. Okay, so this is how I'll play it with my stop loss just slightly outside this zone, this support zone that we identified on the longer time frame. Okay, so I have a stop loss here. Let me just change it to blue color so that you guys can easily see the take profit levels. All right, so there we have it. The buy entry is anywhere in this area. You can see a price is rejecting this 78.6 really nicely now. Okay, with the first take profit here, and then the second take profit at 134.36. So that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in to today's trade of the day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you.